It's so interesting.
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 I'm your host, George Spitzer, and today I'm going to talk with Jim Connolly, a professional piano tuner and a music composer. Okay, let's get right to it. Jim, why do you love piano tuning?
I love piano tuning because I love pianos. I love the mechanics of the piano. I love working on a musical instrument. I love spending my time doing something that results in at least the possibility of something beautiful happening. And I like the people part of it too. So it's a machine, it's a musical instrument, and it's kind of a black box that people are attached to.
And you are part of the elite that know what's in the black box, how complicated it is, and how to fix all the things that are out
I'd
of
love to
whack.
be able to tell you about it, but it's kind of a secret. And
The secret sauce, right? You were mentioning the most enjoyable part of your work, what keeps you going every day doing it, is the sound, the people, the magic of it all. What aspect of it that attracts you and makes you get up every morning and do this?
Well, you have a job. You know how this works. If your job had only one dimension to it, I think we'd only be doing our jobs for 6 months and then moving on. But I love the fact that my job has these different layers. It's about the people. It's about the box. It's about music. And besides that variety, my week is broken up in different ways. For 2 days a week, maybe I'm just in the shop doing work on a customer's piano action. So I'm by myself in this fabulous workspace that I have, and I'm doing that, and I love that. And then 3 days a week I'm out tuning, visiting people in their homes, and I love that variety. If all I did was go to people's houses and tune pianos, I think I'd get really tired of it. So I love the shop work, I love the field work, and then the other layers.
And as a generalization, would your customers notice your work in terms of being really appreciative of your tuning a piano and repairing it and so forth?
Oh, I hope so. Just like anything else. I mean, we've got a lot to take for granted in our world. You know, when you go to your dentist, you're not sure how much better your dentist is than the one that's down the hall. But you basically, I think what we look for when we look for people providing a service like I do is you look for somebody that you understand and you trust and you respect. And if those three things are in some kind of reasonable balance, I think we're all pretty happy.
How did you get into piano tuning? Is this something, it was a calling since you were young, or you saw some mentor do it, or someone said you should do this, you fell into it, or you just enjoy this particular work because of some of your experience?
I think I was heading towards it for a long time. When I went to music school at New England Conservatory of Music in Boston, I was not a composition student, but my roommate was. And what I saw at the conservatory were all of these composition students walking around with tuning hammers and hating it. There was a composition professor there that insisted that all of his students learn how to tune pianos. And his reason was that you're going to be a composer if things work out. That means you need a way to make money. And piano tuning is kind of a traditional job for composers. So I had the idea, then when I saw all these young composers running around, I wasn't ready to do it yet. There were other things that seemed to draw me more. I think my final step in the journey towards it was just realizing that I could be self-employed. And I really wanted to stay working in music. I've done so many other stupid things for a living, working in copy stores, driving a cab, washing dishes. Those are
Welcome to the club.
Yeah. So those are jobs, I was going to say something horrible about them, but those are jobs I don't want to do anymore. And now I can decide. Like, for instance, I might go sail out to the islands this Thursday and Friday because I can clear the few things that are on my schedule and it looks like the weather might be nice. So That's self-employed.
That's definitely a perk for being self-employed.
Yeah.
And because you build your business primarily, like as you mentioned, a dentist or any other professional, it's by reputation, by satisfied customers who refer you. So your business is entirely by reputation now, which is another way of asking, how long have you been doing this here?
Since about 91. So
20 years.
Yeah, and you know, all of us have kind of ads in the Yellow Pages. You remember what Yellow Pages are?
Yeah.
Well, we still advertise. We still have little tiny ads in the Yellow Pages. But most of my calls come as from referrals from other customers, which is really nice because there's already some kind of trust, factor in the contact.
And when you have a customer satisfied, which they will let you know pretty much right away after they've heard your work, they tend to stay with you.
Yeah.
So you have some customers that you've had for years and years and years.
Sure.
And that builds up and
Yeah.
as reference, and people retire and so forth. That's great. Is there a specialty you do within the piano world? In other words, do you do just uprights or baby grands, full grands, concert grands, school grands? I mean, there are all sorts of pianos. Do you tune anything, and do you have a preference?
Both. I'll work on almost anything. And as time goes on, I get less and less excited about working on certain kinds of pianos. But I want to stay open and to that and not start to filter things out. For the simple fact that when I go to somebody's house to tune the piano, I'm there for the piano, but it's really I'm there for the person. And I know personally from growing up with a crappy piano that good people can own horrible pianos. And really, I'm there to make the person feel...
This is a news flash, right?
Yeah. Imagine. I'm there to just make that person's life in music a little easier and better. And if I don't like the piano, if I don't warm up to the piano personally, that's not usually the whole picture. Usually I'm there to make the person help the person enjoy playing music more. It's just like you can't go wrong with that.
That's great. Now, you mentioned you went to the New England Conservatory of Music in Boston, and that's a well-known school for composition in particular. Did you go there? Did you pick up the composition bug there, and do you still do that now?
I'm writing all the time, and but the funny thing is that I didn't start writing music until the day that I quit school. I didn't stay for 4 years. I figured some things out about myself, about who I wanted to be as a musician.
Briefly describe what kind of string quartet music you were composing.
It's first of all,
and do this on radio without a record player.
Right, I can do it. The first difference with my approach to string quartet is that the instrumentation's a little bit different. As everybody knows, standard string quartet is 2 violins, viola, cello. The Gove County string quartet is 2 violins, viola, and double bass, because I'm a double bass player. So what it means as a composer is that you have this palette of color, a palette of color that's a little bit broader than what a regular string quartet works with, meaning our range is a little bit bigger because the bass goes down a little bit lower. So the sound of the string quartet is a little bit meatier, a little bit bigger, and a little bit more transparent than other string quartets. The style of music is, I would consider it modern because I'm a living composer, and but at the same time very romantic and sentimental, and also dissonant at the same time. So
interesting.
A mixture of flavors. Yeah.
If anybody would like to hear any of Jim's music, or contact him on the piano tuning side, you can contact him through our website at itssointeresting.com, and you'll find all the information there. Thank you very much for being with us, Jim.
You're welcome.
It's so interesting.
It's so interesting.
It's so interesting.
It's so interesting.
It's so interesting.